Hi everyone. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I just wanted to share ways to overcome comparison and envy. I know that it's something that I have been dealing with, and I know that a lot of you probably have dealt with it or you are currently dealing with it. And I just wanted to share some things that I've learned that hopefully it will help you all, and just to share how God's been helping me overcome. And yeah, so I'll just start by saying the first thing for me, I had to learn how to be happy for other people and to learn how to pray for them. Like if I was to see someone and I saw that they had like a nice dress that I really wanted, and I knew that maybe I couldn't afford it, or maybe I didn't feel like I would look good in it. Just an example, instead of being envious and thinking about it and having all these negative thoughts in my head, we have to like stop and say, okay, Lord, no, thank you for this woman. I don't even know her. God, I pray for her, Lord. Thank you for blessing her with this dress. Something small like that. And it may not seem impactful or that it's going to help you in any way, but it really does. So we have to learn how to be happy for other people and to pray for them. The truth is the greatest gift anyone could ever receive is Jesus. So we need to learn how to not be so focused on our circumstances and the materialistic things in life. So that's the first thing that really helped me, was learning how to be happy. And you're not going to feel like doing it in the moment. You're not going to feel like praying or feel like being happy for that person, but God is trying to take us on. God is trying to mature us, and He knows that you're not going to feel like doing it. He's trying to mature you and get you to a place where you're not envying everyone that walks by you because you see that they have something you want. Like He's trying to change your character. That's what He's after. He's trying to change your heart. And so another thing that really helped me was I had to stop and focus on myself. Like I had a lot of internal, and still do, issues that God had to work out in me. For instance, I struggled with confidence, which most of us do. I struggled with confidence. So I took the time and I started to focus on things that I would be afraid to do or that challenged me to help me grow in specifically that area. So I started working. God was calling me to work as a substitute teacher, so I started to do that, and that completely was out of my comfort zone. Completely. I was terrified. I remember the first day when I got the call to start working, I literally was on my bed crying, praying to God because I was so afraid. I didn't want to take the job. And God was like, don't worry, I'm going to help you. I'm going to uphold you with my righteous right hand. Don't fear. And I took that first step. And now, over a year later, I'm doing things that I did not even want to do a year ago. I'm doing things that I was so afraid to do, but now it's easier. So I really took a time to just sit back and really be who God created me to be. If there was a character flaw that I saw, maybe like I said, the confidence and just internal things that I believed about myself that was not true, I took the time with God for Him to help me to unravel and to heal and to know the truth about myself and to not believe those lies and growing as a person, because life is not about always, receiving, and I'm going to talk about that later. But yeah, take the time to really get to know yourself, to grow, learn your weaknesses, your strengths. Learn what you need to continue to work on with God, and He's going to help you. He's going to take you to that place where you want to go. You just have to have patience, and you have to be willing to put in the work. And once you get your focus off of other people and all the things that you want, you're going to begin to be content. So that's a whole other video I can talk to you guys about. But yeah, so the next thing is, and I think this is one of the biggest things, like, be grateful for what you have now. Sometimes we're so focused on other people and everything that they have that we don't. We are blind by our desires, by everything that we want. We don't even see the blessings that God gives us each and every day. You know, one thing I try to practice is every day when I wake up, as soon as my eyes open in the morning, I try to say and remind myself, okay, thank you, God, for waking me up. Thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you that I have a bed. Thank you that I can breathe, that I have air in my lungs. You know, like, those little small things really help you and set yourself up to be in a posture of humbleness and just thankfulness. And you have a much better day when you do that, because you start to see, oh my gosh, like, I have food in my fridge, I have water. There's some people right now who are struggling and who don't have those things. So you start to really see, wow, like, I have all these things. Why am I focused on this one thing that I don't have? I'm just going to share a little story. It's personal, but I believe in transparency, and I believe that sharing will help other people. So for me, one thing that I struggled with was I was envying someone, and I would always compare myself to someone on Instagram. You know, it was a woman, she was around the same age as me. She had just gotten married, and she bought a house with her husband, and her life looked like a dream on Instagram. And it was just eating me, like, I was just so focused on it. I was comparing myself. I was looking at my life, everything that I didn't have. I remember driving to school in tears. Like, every time I would drive to school, I would just be in tears because I'd have all these thoughts rolling in my mind, thinking that I'm not worthy, like, I could never be this or that person. I could never have those things. Am I going to be a good wife one day? Can I handle a house, cleaning a house and taking care of a house? Like, all these things were just playing in my mind. And it got to the point, I was like miserable for like a year and a half. And it was so bad. And I'm telling you this because I know there might be someone who's dealing with the same thing. And you're like, why am I so miserable? Why is this? Like, we have to learn the things that I talked about earlier, you know, not focusing on the things you don't have, appreciating what we do have, you know, being grateful for what we do have, and learning to be happy for other people. But this really was beating me up, and every time she would post something, I would have these little breakdowns. I would cry. I would just beat myself up. I had myself a little pity party. Oh, I love to have pity parties back then, and that's not what God has for you and wants for you. He does not want you to stay in that place. But there was a process I had to go through, and I'm going to talk about that next, about season. But oh my goodness, like, it was terrible. So I started to do those things that I talked about. Whenever I would see her and she post a picture, I would just start praying for her. I would say, you know what, God, thank you for blessing her. Thank you for giving her this house. Thank you for blessing her with a husband. Thank you for doing all these things. God, help me to, you know, rejoice and be happy for other people, Lord, and to be grateful for what I have, you know. And, you know, at first it was not fun. I would do that, and then I would go in my car and cry. You know, like, it was hard to do that. I didn't want to do that. But over time, it got better. And I noticed over time, like, when I would see her pictures, it didn't affect me as much. See, God was working in me through that. And he was breaking that stuff off of me, because that's not who he called me to be. You know, he doesn't call us to do those things. So as I was doing that, I realized God was setting me free little by little, you know, and he was helping me to be confident in him and to appreciate the things that he's done for me and is going to do for me. Wow. Because I'm just thinking back of everything. It's like, how awesome is God that he does these things for us. We just have to trust him and submit to his will and his way in our lives. So, okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is season. Sometimes we look at people and we see them in their harvest season while we're still being processed, and we say, oh my gosh, God is forgetting about me. Excuse me, he doesn't love me. You know, we have to understand there's a time and there's a time and a season for every matter under heaven. There's a time for certain things to happen, and God won't give you something if you are not ready for it. And he's doing that out of love. Like, he loves us so much. He's not going to give us something when he knows we're not ready yet. He's going to take the time. He's going to work in us, mature us up, grow us up until he sees that we can handle it, and then he'll give us those things. You know, so we have to understand we can't, you know, be jealous and look at this person and say, oh, this and that, and why does she have this, why does he have that? You know, that person probably went through their season, you know, and they're in their harvest season right now. And again, when you get in that place, you have to start praying and just thanking God and, you know, really looking into yourself and saying, oh God, where am I at? Like, you have to, that was the biggest thing I didn't understand. I didn't understand where I was at in my process. I didn't even know what a process was. What? God, you're taking me through a process. I want it now. You know what I mean? Like, no, it does not work that way. So there's a process being done in me, and there's still a process being done in me during that time and now. And so he wants us to know that and understand that. You know, there's a season, there's a time, you know. So we have to wait on those things. But while we're waiting, we have to be joyful and expectant and trust in him and his timing, that he will bring whatever he has for you. You know, it may not look like what you want. Like, we have to let go of that too. Like, whatever he has for you, he's good. He's going to bring the things he has for you to you when you're ready, when it's time, you know. And how good is that? I'm so glad I didn't get the things that I wanted when I wasn't ready, because I would have ruined everything. I just look back, I'm so glad I'm taking this time to just be with God, allow him to mature me, grow me up. You know what I mean? I'm going to be so grateful that I didn't get those things that I wanted right there and then. But we have to understand the process and understand that it takes time. It takes time. I know a lot of the things we want is not going to happen overnight. It may not happen overnight. You know what I mean? You know, I know some of you probably want to be married one day, or want to get a house, or want to buy a car. Like, there's a process to everything. You know, we have to go through our process so that when we're ready, if God has those things for us, it will happen and he'll bring those things, you know. So this was just an encouragement. You know, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added on to you. Don't focus so much on what kind of clothes you're going to wear, what you don't have, what you're going to eat, or how is this going to look on me, what am I going to, you know, do, and all. Like, just rest, enjoy your journey. And the sooner you do this, the sooner you let go and trust God and embrace your process, which it takes us a little while to get there, because, you know, us humans, we have our own stuff going on. We can be a hot mess sometimes. But as soon as, the quicker you do that, the more peace you're gonna have, the more you're gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, we have to just learn to let go. It's hard. Like, it took me 2.5 years to surrender and to decide to be like, you know what, Lord, I'm just going to trust you. I give this situation to you. I'm going to enjoy my process. And even if those things don't come, my joy is going to be in you, not in my circumstances and the things I have or don't have. Because if I put my hope in my circumstances, I'm going to be like this. And I've been like this for the last 3 years. And let me tell you guys, I'm sick and I'm tired. And so, because it's like, our joy is meant to be in Jesus. And if you don't know Jesus, you need to. Because he wants to know you. He loves you so much. And he has so many great things for you. He just needs you to trust him and to be willing to give him your heart, you know. And God is so good. He loves us so much, and I can just see that God has amazing things in store for us. So that's the end of this video. I just wanted to share some things with you all, how God has been helping me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Bye.